Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Philip and I'm a photographer located in the Midwest, and on this channel we talk about landscapes, nature, and traveling and how those go together. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything I know about memory cards. Alright, so you got a camera, you got a lens, you bought a tripod. Now what? You need somewhere to put the photos or videos or whatever you're doing. You need somewhere to put it, and that's where memory cards come into play. So now you've spent all this money, right? And the thought is, oh, now I have to buy memory cards. And you're presented with the opportunity to either buy a cheap card or a fast, more expensive card. Now I'm going to steer you towards the faster and more expensive cards. So what is a fast card, you might be wondering? So you're going to look at these cards. I'm going to put one up here. I personally go with the SanDisk Extreme Pros. You don't necessarily have to get these ones, but I personally really like them. They write fast, they're reliable. I personally, so far, knock on wood, have not had any of these cards fail on me. The good thing about these is that there are class 10, which you'll see here denoted inside of a circle, and they're a U3 card. Basically what that means is that this card has a fast write speed, and you look up here, it's 95 megabytes per second. So basically what that translates to for photography is, for example, if you're doing wildlife or sports or just any kind of photography where you might have to take a lot of photos in a quick succession, you want the card to be able to handle all the information that you're putting into it, right? So what's going to happen if you have a cheaper and slower card is you're going to hit your buffer. So let's just say that a camera shoots 10 frames a second, right? So if a camera shooting 10 frames a second, you take all of your data that's happening in 10 frames a second from each picture, and you have to push it to a card. Well, a slower card cannot handle all that data, so what's going to happen is you're going to hit your buffer, and then the camera's going to start to slow down. So it'll go from shooting 10 frames a second to, let's just say, shooting 5 frames per second. So your memory card can actually really hamper the quality or the ability of your camera. So you don't want to go ahead and buy this really nice fancy camera and then put a cheap card in it, right? Because that's really just going to dampen the performance of your nice camera. Memory cards are really like the punter and the kicker in the NFL, right? It's not something you really ever think about, you know, the quarterbacks and the wide receivers and the running backs get all the hype, you know, like where everyone always wants to talk about cameras and lenses and all this stuff, but no one ever really talks about memory cards until you need them. And that's just kind of like a funny little side example, but it really is true. You know, it's something that you don't want to put on kind of in the back of your mind until it's too late. And by too late, I mean either, you know, you're buffering out, like I said, and you're missing opportunities and moments, or you're having even worse issue and your memory card is failing. So like I said, I use SanDisk Extreme Pros. I love these. I've never had any issues with these. And then when I'm traveling, I like to keep them in this Pelican case. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the brand Pelican. They make a whole lot of storage devices for cameras. The reason I just use a case for my memory cards is because it's a safe place to store them. So you don't want to have these bumping around in your bag and potentially getting scratched up and damaged and lose information that way. So you can pick these up for like 20 bucks. They're super cheap, but definitely something I highly recommend getting in your bag. And the other thing that I really like about these Pelican cases specifically, because I used to have another one, but these, I don't even know exactly how to call it, but basically what happens is that when you open this up and the memory cards are sitting in here, you can actually turn them and flip them so they can fit in the other direction. And the reason I like that is because when I'm traveling on the road, this is a bonus travel tip for you, is that when I'm done using a card, I will put it back into the case upside down. That way I know that the card has date on it and then not to use it again. because what I do when I travel is that I'll shoot for a day or two on a specific 2 cards because I shoot redundantly, and then I'll put them into the case and then I won't touch it the rest of the trip. That way, if a card fails on me, I'm only losing maybe 1 or 2 days depending on how long the trip is, or you know, a sunrise or a sunset or something like that. So speaking of trips, so that brings me to the announcement part of the video. I'm actually packing up and getting ready to head on a week-long vacation in Sedona. So, well, Sedona, Arizona, we'll be headed up to the Grand Canyon and down to Phoenix, but mostly we'll be in Sedona. So get ready for that type of content coming up on the channel. If you want to see some behind the scenes stuff, head down into the description and follow me on Instagram, and then I'll be putting a lot of stuff up on my story. So if you're interested in some of the behind the scenes stuff of how I go get photos, or you know, food or anything like that, kind of the ins and out traveling things that I guess I don't really show a whole lot sometimes on this channel, then definitely be sure to hang out with that. Right now it's Friday evening. This video will be coming out Sunday, and I'm going to go ahead and take the next week off. So we'll have a video this week that you're watching right now, and then we'll take a week off because I'll be out enjoying my vacation. Again, like I said, just go ahead and follow me on Instagram and kind of hang out with the stories if you kind of want some content from me coming into next week. So with that, if you liked this video and found it informative, go ahead and drop a like. I would appreciate it. If you have any comments about the kind of memory cards that you use, or if you've had any bad experiences with certain cards, go ahead and leave those comments down below. That way we can all learn and grow from each other. And if you want to see more photography, travel type of content in the future, go ahead and subscribe, because that is what is coming up on the channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.